I walked out of the bar and saw some bastard with his arm around my cheating wife's waist, his other hand on her ass. I shouted, "You bastard!" and delivered a crushing blow. He fell to the ground, and I was ready to finish him off. But one of his friends kicked me in the face, and I blacked out for a second. When I came to, my wife was helping that bastard up, not paying any attention to me. There's a kind of betrayal that doesn't creep up on you. It punches you straight in the gut. No build-up, no slow burn, just pure blinding impact. And for me, it happened in the parking lot of O'Mall's, the same damn bar where I was supposed to meet my wife after her girls' night out. I had just walked out after grabbing a drink with a couple of old coworkers. I was in a good mood, even had a slight buzz going. I was planning to surprise her. We were supposed to meet in 20 minutes, but I thought, what the hell? Let me catch her early. See her smile. Instead, I caught her wrapped in another man's arms. And not just a casual hug. This guy, some smug-looking pretty boy in a tight button-down, had one arm around her waist and the other hand firmly gripping her ass. They were laughing close, way too close, like I never existed. "You bastard!" I shouted, the words ripping from my throat before I could think. They both turned, startled, but he didn't let go. He just smirked. That was all it took. I charged, and my fist connected hard with his jaw. Bone crunched. He stumbled, then hit the pavement with a satisfying thud. I wasn't done. I stepped forward, my pulse roaring in my ears, ready to finish what I started. But I never saw it coming. The kick that changed everything. Crack! A sharp, brutal kick to the side of my face knocked me sideways. The world tilted, my vision blurred. I hit the asphalt, dazed. Everything spun for a moment. I blinked hard, trying to stay conscious. A second later, I realized what had happened. The AP's friend, some bulked-up guy in a leather jacket, had blindsided me. I lay there for a few seconds, my cheeks stinging, my ears ringing. And when I finally pushed myself up, the sight in front of me hit harder than the kick. The image I'll never forget. My wife, Sarah, wasn't checking on me. She wasn't kneeling beside her husband of 6 years. She wasn't screaming at the guy who had just assaulted me. No, she was helping him up. Him, the guy who had his hands all over her. She cradled his face gently, asking if he was okay. I watched her touch his bruised jaw with the kind of care I hadn't felt from her in months. She didn't even glance at me. Not once. Silence. Then reality. My chest burned. Not from the kick, not even from the punch I'd thrown, but from the fact that she chose him, in front of me, while I lay on the damn ground. I pulled myself to my feet. My hands were shaking, not from pain, but from something deeper, from humiliation. "Sarah," I said, my voice hoarse. Finally, she turned, eyes wide like I was the problem. Her lips parted, but nothing came out. The bastard wiped blood from his lip and sneered at me. "You've got anger issues, man." Sarah stepped between us like she was protecting him. That was the moment. That was when I knew I didn't lose her tonight. I lost her a long time ago. Tonight was just the proof. But what they didn't know, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just looked at both of them. I memorized their faces because this wasn't the end. This was the beginning. And what came next would be the kind of revenge neither of them would ever forget. They thought I was broken as I stood there in that parking lot, wiping blood from my mouth while my wife nursed the man who just groped her and let his friend kick me in the face. They believed I'd walk away and disappear into silence and shame. They didn't realize silence isn't surrender. It's strategy. Because when someone tears your world apart, you don't just fix it. You rebuild it better. And you make damn sure they choke on the dust of what they destroyed. Step 1. Disappear. The next morning, I packed a bag. Not a word to Sarah. No angry texts. No desperate phone calls. No passive-aggressive notes. Just gone. I left the keys on the kitchen counter and drove to a friend's place across town. Nate. A quiet guy I'd known since college. Divorced. Off-grid. The kind of guy who wouldn't ask questions until I was ready to talk. When he opened the door and saw my bruised face, he just stepped aside. "Stay as long as you need," he said. I nodded once. That was all I needed. Step 2. Let the panic set in. For the first 2 days, I turned my phone off. Radio silence. No updates, no posts, nothing. And then I turned it back on just long enough to check the damage. 43 missed calls from Sarah. 11 voicemails. A few texts from mutual friends. "Are you okay? Sarah said you lost it." Of course she did. Of course she spun the narrative. The poor wife caught between 2 men. But I didn't reply to any of it. Instead, I smiled. Because her calls weren't about guilt. They were about control. And now, she had none. Step 3. Learn the enemy. If I was going to ruin them, I had to understand them. Not just the affair. The why. So I started watching social media. Checked LinkedIn. Updated and polished. AP was some regional sales director at a mid-tier tech company. Newly promoted. Sarah's posts, private now, but not before I screenshotted everything. A few clicks told me they were still seeing each other. Quietly for now, but comfortably. Like they had already decided I was a footnote. Like I was just the guy she used to be married to. That's when I opened a new notebook and started writing. Operation Phoenix, because I wasn't going to crash and burn. I was going to rise, and they were going to burn instead. Step 4. Flip the narrative. I didn't just want revenge, I wanted to control the story. Because the thing about cheating, people are quick to pick sides, especially when one side plays the victim first. So I beat her to it. I sent 3 short, calm messages to our closest mutual friends. "Hey, just so you hear it from me, Sarah and I are separated. She's moved on. I'm focusing on healing. I'm not angry, just disappointed. Hope we can all keep things respectful. No rants, no drama, just quiet dignity." And they ate it up. Responses poured in. "Damn, man, I'm so sorry. She didn't deserve you. You're handling this with class, Sarah." She probably thought she'd control the narrative. Too late. She'd lost the public war before she even realized we were fighting one. Step 5. The setup begins. While Sarah scrambled to reach me, I was already working behind the scenes. I called my lawyer, started prepping the separation papers. I called my accountant, pulled financial records, began moving money out of joint accounts. I changed all the passwords, utilities, streaming, bank, subscriptions. Anything with my name on it was locked down. And her? She was still texting me like nothing had changed. "Can we talk? I'm sorry, but you really scared me." It was just a moment. "He didn't mean anything." "You're overreacting. Funny." She didn't seem so sorry when she was touching his face and ignoring mine. Now she was getting nervous. Good, because I was just getting started. People like Sarah and her lover think betrayal is a clean cut. They think they can walk away from their damage without looking back. But betrayal isn't a clean wound. It festers. It infects everything they touch. And now it was time to make sure the infection spread. Because while Sarah was still playing house with her affair partner, I had already loaded the first bullet. And I was ready to pull the trigger. Sarah's career was everything to her. Senior marketing manager, polished LinkedIn profile, weekly boss babe quotes on Instagram. She loved being the woman with a career, a marriage, and a polished social image. Now, I was going to burn that image to the ground. You see, her affair partner wasn't just a random guy from the gym or a late-night bar hookup. He was her client. Technically speaking, a direct violation of her company's internal code of conduct. And since they were still being reckless, I collected proof. Screenshots of flirtatious messages from her work phone. Photos from mutual friends' DA stories, her cuddled up with him at a corporate event. An old text where she bragged about bagging the new client rep. All of it packaged up anonymously and delivered directly to HR from a concerned colleague. I waited exactly 2 days. Then I checked the back channels. Quiet group chats. Whispers from friends who still followed her socials. Did you hear about Sarah? I think she's on leave or something. Some HR thing, but she won't talk about it. And then a phone call from a shared friend. She's freaking out, he said. She thinks someone's trying to ruin her career. I smiled and said nothing. Let her panic. Let her twist. Because this wasn't even the main blow. It was just a warning shot. She finally reached out again. This time in person. I came home late one evening to grab a few more boxes, and she was waiting there, still wearing the hurt wife mask. Can we talk? She asked softly. I leaned against the car door, arms crossed. About what? She hesitated. I miss you. I blinked, then laughed. You miss me? I made a mistake, she whispered. You just disappeared. You wouldn't even give me a chance to explain. You made your choice, I replied flatly. You explained everything the night you helped him up while I was bleeding in a parking lot. She flinched, but she tried again. Things aren't what I thought they'd be, she admitted. He's not who I thought. Ah, there it was. The cracks. He moved in, she added. But he doesn't have his life together. He's broke, selfish. Kind of a narcissist if I'm being honest. I gave a half smile. You thought you upgraded, I said. But all you did was trade in a loyal man for a free ride. Her lip quivered. I didn't think you'd hate me this much. I stepped forward slowly, just close enough for her to hear the edge in my voice. I don't hate you, Sarah. She looked up. I leaned in closer. I outgrew you. And with that, I turned and walked away again, because she needed to feel the weight of what she lost, not through anger, but through silence. I waited one more week. Then, I delivered the final blow to her public image. I created a new email account. I gathered screenshots, timeline charts, dates, and I sent an anonymous message to her boss's boss. A professional package detailing her month-long affair with a client and her violation of multiple ethical boundaries. No emotion, just fact. And I knew that once that email was opened, her job was done. She wasn't just the woman who cheated. She was now a liability. There's something satisfying about silence. Not the silence of being ignored, but the silence right before everything crashes down. The quiet between thunder and lightning. And Sarah? She was standing in that silence, oblivious to the storm I had summoned. But not for long. Because the house of cards she built with lies, betrayal, and fantasy was about to come tumbling down. And this time, I wasn't lifting a finger. It happened on a Monday morning. The perfect day for karma. I had just finished my morning coffee when I got a text from one of her ex-colleagues. She's gone. HR walked her out. Apparently, the higher-ups received the second batch of documentation. The one that included detailed logs of how Sarah had redirected company funds to treat her affair partner to dinners, hotel stays, and client entertainment. Misuse of corporate expenses. Client boundary violations. Undisclosed relationship. HR didn't need time to think. They called her in, made her sign the papers, and sent her packing. And just like that, the career she loved more than our marriage was over. A day after she lost her job, I heard through a mutual acquaintance that he had left too. The AP. Apparently, he wasn't in it for forever. He was in it for the thrill. And once that thrill became baggage, once Sarah was no longer the exciting, taken woman, but an unemployed ex-wife with a tarnished reputation, he bailed, took his clothes, blocked her on everything, left without a note. And Sarah? She was left alone in a half-furnished apartment with no job, no partner, and a reputation in ashes. When she cheated, Sarah thought she was moving up. She didn't realize how deeply everything had been under my control. The house? I had it refinanced under my name alone. Her car? Leased under the company account and now repossessed. Our savings? I moved it the day I caught her. Every penny legally mine. She tried to fight the divorce terms. Her lawyer called mine and tried the usual negotiation tricks. But I had receipts. I had proof of her affair, the financial misconduct, the violation of marital trust. And she knew it. So when the papers were finally signed, she walked away with nothing. No alimony, No equity. No sympathy. Just a name. One now associated with scandal and stupidity. I hadn't spoken to Sarah directly since that awkward driveway confrontation. But a month after the dust settled, I got an email. It was long, apologetic, rambling. She talked about how she had lost herself, how she had never meant to hurt me, and how she was struggling. She ended it with, "If there's any chance we could talk, even just to clear the air, I'd really appreciate it. I miss your presence in my life." I didn't reply, but I did forward it to her ex-boss. Just for fun. Because closure? Closure is a myth. Sometimes the only closure you get is watching someone dig their own grave and lie in it. It's been a year now. I moved cities, started my own business, met someone new, someone who values loyalty, not attention. And Sarah? Last I heard, she's still unemployed, living in a smaller apartment, estranged from most of her old friends, drifting, and occasionally she tries to reach out. Different number, new email. I never respond, because some people don't deserve a second chance. They deserve to live with the weight of their decisions every single day, and the best revenge is living a better life without them. Was this revenge justified, or did it go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your take. And if you love jaw-dropping pro-revenge stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash the like for more thrilling tales you won't want to miss.